about taking a drop and blocking the defensive end. We talking about showing some athleticism. You see it here, and find the guy that's trying to enter through the back door of the club and bust his face mask wide open. That's what Joe Alt did. I like the nastiness of the big fella. I like the feet. I like the verticality getting down the line of scrimmage. Joe Alt is a young big man balling. I hope to do this more, brother, but this was a good one. Next, it ain't no way in hell you can have a big man balling without T'Vondre Sweat being involved in it. He's the biggest human you've ever seen in person. He's the biggest human you've ever seen on TV. But look at the lateral quickness. See, when God make us, he be like, I'm going to make you big. You're going to have big thighs. You're going to have small ankles. And I'm going to help you move faster than most people move. And that's what he did for T'Vondre Sweat. When I was breaking this film down, y'all, I was enamored with the athleticism. And last but not least, I told y'all, anytime a big man get in the end zone, I'm going to find him. So I'm going to go to my man Byron Murphy. He's a top D tackle prospect in this draft. But we can do more. And the coaches in the NFL tell us all the time, the more you can do. So you can line him up at fullback, you can hand the ball off to him, and he can get in the end zone. I don't care if it's from the 1 yard line, because I can already hear RC and Dan in my ear. Don't give a damn. We got pay dirt, and we needed to score a touchdown. That is the young BMBs coming into the league. I hope to display you guys more, but you already gave me something here on draft day. Good luck tonight. Put a great suit on, and BMBs will be recognized as long as Swagoo on NFL Live. Peace.
Woo! We give you the ball on the 1 yard line. The other team going 99.
Oh, come on, Dan. That was great. We got, honestly, there are some really exciting.
Hating on the big men.
He does, and there's so many exciting ones in this draft.
And what's crazy is he was closer to big men balling than he was this size when he got drafted. Especially when we're talking about body fat percentage. And so
it was all in his face. Oh, well. There we go. All right. Anyway, Marcus was talking to us. I don't know if you guys heard it at home. We're talking about the big fellows. Let's go to the littler fellows, but they're not really that little because these wideouts in this draft class are really exciting.
It's not that funny.
Most wideouts taken in the first round of a draft was in 2004 when 7 went, including 3 in the top 10. Mel Kiper Jr. has 7 wide receivers going in the first round of his latest mock draft, including 3 in the top 10. Dan, all signs point to Marvin Harrison Jr. being the first wideout off the board. What is a team, whoever takes him, getting in him tonight?
Yeah, the 3 most important traits a wide receiver needs. Number 1, can you get open? Number 2, do you catch it? And then number 3, what do you do when you actually do catch it? I think he's elite, top 5 in all of those elements. The ability to, the pace of his routes and the play speed that he has. He's not just a one-trick pony. You can get him the football in multiple different facets. We've talked about that with Malik Nabers, the one-on-one catches. His feet are so unique. Like, we're in Detroit, Nate Burleson, toe drag swag. Like, his ability to have his feet proper in the catch space or at the top of his routes, I think is a thing that he does better than the other 2 in the top 3 category. He's a very rare talent.
All right, so you look at that 4th overall pick with the Cardinals. Look at this tweet from Kyler Murray that he put out a little bit earlier today. He said, the vibes just feel right. Something about today feels right. Vibes are immaculate. I don't know. What does Kyler know here? I mean, you got to think they feel really confident, those Cardinals.
They're the best place in the draft.
4, right. Yeah. They do. They've got a lot of great picks as well. But either way, they know it's probably going to be quarterback 1, 2, 3. They're right there. Yeah. They could get Marvin Harrison Jr. All right, so if he's the first wideout to go, that leaves Malik Nabers and Rome Odunze as the next 2 on people's boards. Mina, how do you expect that to go? How do you choose between them? It's like choosing between 2 kids.
The top 3 are all like that for me.
But who you are has to matter, right, as a team?
Is exactly what I was about to say. I have a slight preference for Nabers generally because of his rare explosiveness, but I think if you do take him over Odunze, you have to have a plan. It's not like, and I would say Marvin Harrison Jr. is in this bucket as well. You just line him outside, tell him to win. Right. That's not what you're doing with Malik Nabers. You want to borrow heavily from what we see, frankly, the Dolphins do. Condensed formations, using motions. You need to get him in space because when he is in space, bad things happen to the defense. However, that team has to have that vision for him. He's going to play a lot in the slot. He just is, especially earlier on in his career. And if you don't have that vision, take Odunze because he is a sure thing to me.
Yeah, I know the vision is important, and I'm going to differ a little bit here with Mina because now that doesn't mean that I don't believe Rome Odunze is a number one or that Rome Odunze isn't a really good receiver, but some of the elite traits of the other two I don't believe he has. I don't believe he has a little bit of the suddenness, a little bit of the quickness to create some of the separation that we see the elite wide receivers do in the NFL, but we've seen that from both Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Nabers. And I think the thing that Rome does, and Dan was mentioning this during the commercial, is he makes these tough catches because he doesn't create the separation, the range that he could catch the football with, how soft his hands are, the way he places his body. And there is a place in football for that because we've seen it with DeAndre Hopkins as well. Yeah. But when I think about Malik Nabers, the NFL, that's where they're moving. Right? They're moving to more motion offense. You're moving to the play action pass. You're moving to getting the football out of my quarterback's hands as quickly as I possibly can and letting these players who catch the football in this open space do the work. And I believe Malik does that better than anybody else in this draft.
I just think, like, where it matters. Like, if you're the Giants and you don't get the quarterback, and it's Marvin at 4 or something, both are downfield, but I think I choose Rome Odunze over Nabers just because of the big body for Daniel Jones. 7 at Tennessee, I think they take offensive linemen, but Brian Callahan comes from the Jamar Chase one-on-one. So maybe is that Malik Nabers. 9, Chicago. We just talked about, if they're going to take a receiver and stay, I would do Nabers because get the ball to Caleb's hands more than Rome. And then the Jets, I think that opposite Gary Wilson, if they take a wide receiver, it makes more sense for a Rome Odunze.
I agree with that.
Here's how we think it may go, right? Quarterbacks at the top, maybe somebody trades up. Then you take a few wide receivers there, like those top 3, 4 maybe. Then probably a lot of offensive tackles, some defensive guys spliced in there. But then there are more wide receivers at the bottom half of that first round that can make your team a lot better. Give us one to look out for, Dan.
Yeah, I think it's Xavier Worthy for me. What happened with Xavier Worthy was at Texas, Electric Factory, and then he goes to the Combine, and he runs 4.2. And I think who many of us have bottled him into, oh, he's a fast guy? Because so often we say fast guys can't run routes. I think this guy's a little bit more nuanced in his route running and his hands than just a 4.2 speed guy. He could play a little bit all over. You can get him touches, and I do think he's wiggly enough at the top.
So earlier, RC had a rep of Terrion Arnold versus Mcconkey. That was a meaningful rep because it does not happen because nobody is able to cover this guy. He gets open so quickly. He's such a jitterbug. He has, I think, actually a pretty impressive catch radius given his size. And then when he has the football in his hands, he is able to create. Look, he is not going to go at the top of the draft partially because of his size. I think he can play inside and outside, and I also think he's going to catch a million passes in the NFL.
Yeah, and what I like is Brian Thomas. And I know it's going to be like, oh, you want all the LSU guys. But I actually do. And he was sort of the forgotten player at LSU. And we only think about his long speed. Here you're going to see a seam dagger. Watch the way as Malik Nabers clears this space for him. Watch him break down, find the space in the zone, catch the football, and get upfield. This is something that we didn't talk about for Brian Thomas. Can he catch the ball in traffic? Can he now push up the field? Now, let's look at the intelligence when he's tied along here with Jaden Daniels and the scramble. Now, this is a simple hook route. He turns up. Now, Jaden gets out of the pocket as he scrambles to the sideline. Brian Thomas gets up the field. Now, here is where we see that elite 4.3 speed where he gets it to the end zone. I love everything about that play because it shows exactly who he is. Now, this team was a huge slot fade team. Remember, this guy is 6'4".
Okay.
You can put the football and give him opportunities to catch it where it doesn't seem that he's open. And the last thing I want to show you is it's not just in the pass game. Now, this is the play. If you're running inside out, you're supposed to make this tackle. Watch him freeze the DB and accelerate to the pylon. Brian Thomas is more than just a deep threat. He's more than just a guy that you stick at the X receiver and work away from him unless he gets the one-on-one. And I think some of those things can help him acclimate into an offense much more quickly than we may have expected before the Combine.
You're going to be the head coach of the All-LSU team? Or
I would love to be the head coach.
Win a lot of games.
More